Yes, here we are then guys for another F1 My Team episode, and today we're here for the Belgian Grand Prix at the legendary Spa circuit, and we are back from a season break. Now then, before we jump into today's action, which I think today's episode is going to be pretty damn stacked, we're going to quickly have a word from our sponsor. Now this video is sponsored by TrackTitan. TrackTitan is the fastest way to improve and get faster on racing games. TrackTitan is currently available for F1 22, also F1 2021 if you don't have the current F1 game, and even F1 2020, and alongside that Assetto Corsa. So those four titles right now. First of all, we have the racing lines, so the blue being the perfect lap and the orange being mile one. So I'm a little bit wide at both apexes. You can see the orange just stands out, and also on the right side you can see the speed. We're actually struggling to match the overall speed. We're about 16 kilometers down at the apex. As you can see, we update the telemetry to lap 4 or 129.3, and this time the racing line you can see is dead even, pretty much exactly as the reference. And if you look at the telemetry, our speed is much more in line. We actually carry the apex speed a lot earlier into the corner. Compare yourself to some reference laps, other users who have uploaded their lap times to the leaderboards, and also setups as well. So there's going to be a lot of options for you guys. Now if you guys want to test out TrackTitan for yourself, then click the link down below, tracktitan.io. Use the code TOM97 in all caps, and that will give you access to 1 month of the Plus membership, which will give you access to pretty much every single reference app available. That is going to really help you out in terms of achieving your goals. Now resuming to the action, if you haven't seen the previous episode at the Hungarian Grand Prix, go check it out, link up in the top right, and leave a like and subscribe if you're going to enjoy today's episode. But yeah, we're going to jump into the action then, as first of all we take care of some activities before we get back into the action at Spa. We also got hit with a durability department event which we had to go ahead and address, and it's in regards to whether we give the staff a bit of a break or we keep them working away on the durability, and agreeing to that would mean losing pretty much all the resource points that we have. So I'm actually going to decline it because it means that we keep things the same. I'm not planning any upgrades on durability anytime soon, so we can go ahead and take a risk and not do that. After that, we look at the upgrades for this weekend, and conveniently, arriving at the power circuits, Mercedes have given us a power upgrade for this race, which is very good. We also have a front wing adjuster bracket for the front downforce on the car as well. And to go with that, we were meant to have another engine upgrade for the fuel, because we've been struggling with fuel efficiency for the last few races, but it failed unfortunately. So we're gonna have to go ahead and repurchase the upgrade. So not exactly ideal, nonetheless we should have that on the car in a couple of races time, as we now look at the development chart for this weekend. So Mercedes bring a massive package after the summer break. We don't really have much on this weekend. You can definitely see since Baku the progress has slowed down a little bit, and we're kind of stagnating, but hopefully we'll have some improvements on the way soon. You can see we have 2 major upgrades on the way, and they should take us above Aston Martin and Haas if they arrive. And we're going to hopefully add another upgrade possibly at the end of this episode if we get enough points. We are quite low right now on 130. In the background you can see we have rain forecast for practice 2, qualifying and the race. For some reason I didn't get given a weather forecast, so I don't have the full accurate reading. That aside, also the last thing we're going to do this weekend is take on a brand new engine and power unit component, because this is a power circuit and we want to have maximum performance. And you can see here we're going to go ahead and use our freshest components available on the engine. We don't have to change the gearbox, we changed that in the last race, so that's not going to be a concern. And yeah, with that done, we've now kind of got through all the admin work from the season break, and you can see after practice we scored maximum points, which takes us up to 1,134 resource points, and hopefully a few more after qualifying and the race should mean that we can actually get some upgrades at the end of this episode. We also got a bunch of discounts applied to multiple areas of the car, so yeah, we're going to look at that at the end of the video. For now though, we're going to jump into qualifying, and as I mentioned before, the forecast wasn't accurate. We've got dark skies right now, possible rain, who knows, we're about to find out. Either way, we're going to get onto the track straight away and waste no time and get onto our lap. So down to turn 1, you can see already with 13 minutes to go, the weather actually started to clear up a bit and the sun started to come out, so that led me to believe that the rain wasn't going to arrive anytime soon. We had an absolutely shocking first lap. Turn 1 was just horror show. We then had a massive moment through Malmedy, and then through Pouon I had some horrible understeer on the front, just getting a load of front understeer and push wide, which I couldn't really fight. I was struggling with that massively all weekend, and it goes back to previous episodes where I've said before, I do think we need to invest a few races into upgrading the front downforce, because I'm struggling with understeer and just general front end responsiveness even with setups on. So yeah, at this point the sun was completely out, blue skies, 2 minutes to go, and we're P21 right now after that horrible first lap. Now I'm pretty confident I can get the job done on 1 lap here because the car and the pace look good at this circuit. So into turn 1, second time around, this time we hit the apex, which is good, and we get a really nice clean exit as we now make our way down into the famous Eau Rouge and Raidillon combination. Flat out, of course, no dramas through here as we get a nice line up the hill. Now making our way onto the Camel Straight, preparing the brake zone at Les Combes. You want to try and aim for the 50, and then it's up to you how much curb you take, but try and attack both curbs here if you're brave enough, which will gain you a decent bit of lap time as we now make our way through Malmedy, this time not having any oversteer issues, and now down the hill into turn 8 Ravage, hard on the brakes, trying to keep it nice and tight, open up turn 9, try to carry that speed and momentum down the hill all the way down to Pouon. Again, we struggled here last time, we're going to try and just rein it in a little bit, keep it a bit tighter as well on the entry as we nail it this time around. And you can see we're purple in sector 1 and 7/10 up right now in the second sector. Into the right left chicane here, trying to take lots of inside curb again to maximise the lap time, and now into Stavelot, hard on the brakes, 4th gear, quickly back up to 5th, use all the exit curb as we now go flat out through the second part. Onto the back straight, we didn't really gain much through there, but still we're nearly 7/10 up as we make our way into Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. Trying to aim for the 100, I'd say, as your sweet spot for the braking, and maybe even just a bit after that if you're lucky. Hard on the brakes, down to 3rd gear, try not to overcommit and then keep a decent minimum speed through this section, and now get the drivers. We set a beautiful final sector and set a 141.6 and move into P12, and that is going to be enough to move us into Q2. However, Turbo Chair does miss out in P20. The grid yet again very, very close, considering it's a 1 minute 41 lap. The fact that the top 16 got through in under a second, that is very, very competitive. So yeah, job done for us into Q2 for the first time in a few races. We've definitely struggled in qualifying, but we are on 110, this weekend, and we seem to have decent pace. Now you can see here in Q2, the weather forecast said rain was arriving straight away, even though it's sunny. I then went onto the track and it said rain would actually arrive in 10 to 15 minutes. So the forecast seems to be all over the place at the moment. So it's hard to really judge, what the weather's saying. I absolutely messed up turn 1 to the point where I actually backed off straight away on this lap, and I've got fuel to go for another lap, so that's what we did. I just had to cool the tires down, make sure we kept the battery charged up. But then again through here, you can see my frustration as through Pouon on my push lap, I just got a load of front wash and push, just running wide and not really understanding why it was happening, because the setup is good, but we just don't seem to have that kind of front downforce at a high speed that we really need to make the difference. So as you can see, at the end of the lap, we still went purple in sector 1, across the line we go, and we do still set a 41.4, which is 2/10 quicker than what we set in Q1. We're now at the end of the session though, 2 minutes to go. You can see the clouds are starting to form as the rain this time is arriving, and we're going to burn up another set of soft tyres as we're currently P10, so there's a chance we could make Q3 here. So here we are for the lap. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'm going to let you enjoy the engine sound, and hopefully it's enough to get into Q3. And there we go, it's an absolute stonker across the line as we go second place, just behind Fernando Alonso, and that is absolutely mental. The car just worked beautifully on that lap. I went a little bit higher on the front wing to try and compensate for the understeer issues, and it really helped us out, and we managed to get ourselves into Q3, and Fernando Alonso setting the pace in the Alpine. Just like in Paul Ricard a few races ago, the Alpine looked really strong. They seem to be really strong again this weekend with both cars in the top 5. But again, look how close the grid is. The top 10 covered by less than 6/10. It's really, really close here, and definitely going to be a spectacular Q3. But with that said, of course, we have the rain, and that's going to be the real X factor here. Now, the rain was pouring down. Q3 was wet conditions. It started out with light rain, and it turns out it was just going to get wetter and wetter throughout the entire session, to the point where it was heavy rain towards the end of Q3. So I went out with about 9 minutes to go, and the plan here is to run pretty much the rest of the session on track and just try to set a good lap. Now, our first lap honestly wasn't good, and there's a bit of a problem. There's no grip. I don't know what has happened. Maybe it's the setup, but I've got no grip in low speed. I'm picking up a load of wheel spin and just oversteer. The car is really floaty, and I've got no confidence. We're 2.5 seconds off Alonso on our first lap, and I'm going even slower on this second attempt. I just don't have an answer for why this is happening, and it must be setup related, because I don't have another explanation why the car feels so horrible. I've got no confidence with the traction as we almost lose it through Pouhon, and if you watch my throttle trace, I'm barely putting on any throttle, and the car is just drifting and skating through every single corner, and I'm just bleeding lap time at every single point. I don't really have a response, and you can see here we just keep losing time through key traction zones. Now, I had a decision to make in terms of, do I pit, do I stay out, because the track isn't improving.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes. The rain's getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
And we basically, based off that radio, took the decision to go into the pit lane and put on a fresh set of Inters, a bit higher tyre pressure, does not have issues with tyre temp, which I was starting to struggle with. And apparently the rain was going to start to go away in 5 minutes time. So, the weather should start to improve already, but it felt like it wasn't really the case. You can see here, starting the lap, I'm the only car out on track. The AI haven't come out for a final run, which is usually a telltale sign the track is too wet. In the past, the AI have got it wrong and it has backfired, but in this particular case, it just wasn't working. Checkered flag drops, I wasn't finding time through turn 1. I did find some time through Eau Rouge because I made a mistake here, but unfortunately we got floor damage, which, my face, you can see the confusion as I didn't know how the hell that happened, as I've done nothing different compared to any other lap. But nonetheless, by the end of it, you can see we're 4 tenths down, and we're just not improving. We're not finding the time. The track has gone beyond the point of, improvement, and a mystery, a genuine mystery. I don't know where the pace went. I've never had this before where the pace is so bad in the wet using a dry setup. Usually I can make it work, but for some reason it just wasn't the case here. And yeah, the big surprise, Zhou Guanyu is on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix, the first ever Chinese driver on pole position in Formula 1. Leclerc second, Hamilton third, Sainz in P4, so the big boys up in the top 4, and then the Alpines dropping the ball a bit in Q3. But look at that, we are 2.8 seconds off. In hindsight, I should have gone out right at the very start of the session and used the track conditions when they were at their best, but historically I've done better with heavier rain on Inters rather than it being on the dry side, so I really don't have an answer as to what the hell happened in this session. But it was a real shame, because had it been dry, I genuinely think I could have fought for a top 5. But yeah, guys, qualifying done. We're now going to move into the race, and we're going to try and turn this one around.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team back in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special just around one of the many corners of this fan-favourite circuit. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Guan Yu Zhou lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, Martinez, Russell, Vettel, Leclerc, and Mick Schumacher. Ocon, Norris, Carlos Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Stroll, Jack Aitken, and Théo Pourchaire. Albon, Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty. Verstappen and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
I'm not going to lie, we are in a bit of trouble this race. Now, the positive is that we're starting from P6. There's been quite a lot of penalties and we're moving up quite a bit compared to P10 in qualifying. We're up to row number 3 and 6th place, which is pretty damn mental in itself. But it's raining and you saw what happened in Q3. I don't know why the pace was so bad. I'm not feeling confident. So I'm going to press the number 4 now and we're about to see the weather forecast. And we're about to find out if this rain is going to last or not, and if our race is going to be screwed or not. Right, we might be in trouble. This could be bad news. This is the problem of not having the weather forecast at the start of the race weekend sometimes. I don't know what setup to run, and I think we might be in trouble. So, the first thing that I can think of is not pit, aka a 0-stop race. That could be an option here today. Fuel-wise, I'll go for an extra lap. I know we're struggling with fuel saving, but it is raining, so there shouldn't be any issues with fuel normally in these conditions. As for the weather, all I can hope for is that the dry conditions arrive earlier than what is forecast and that the forecast is incorrect. So, leave a like if you're excited for this race, the unpredictability of it, and fingers crossed we can get lucky with the rain here. Now, one thing I will say is that there is a slight redeeming aspect to this, and that is in qualifying, I missed out on the best track conditions which were at the start of Q3. So, with that in mind, we're all on track at the same time, so the conditions are the same for all of us. So, maybe, fingers crossed, this might actually help us out. Anyway, we're going to get ourselves lined up in our grid slot. Quite a long run down to our grid slot, but of course we're quite high up the grid this time. Also expecting tyre temp to drop quite a bit, waiting for the lights to go out, so let's line her up and let's get ready, and hopefully we can make it work.
Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Right, predictions in the comments. Edit the comment once the race is over. Let's see if you're right or wrong. But here we go. It's time for the Belgian Grand Prix. My car just moved on the grid, by the way. Did you see that? Either way, look at this. Straight into the action here, into turn 1. We're going to get boxed in. That was such a good start, but I had nowhere to go. 4 wide, by the way. Russell, Perez and Alonso. We're going to get ahead of George on traction as we now see Alonso, Perez, Gasly, all 3 wide as we now head up through Eau Rouge. Oh my god, no grip. Understeer. We have to be careful with the rejoin. And Russell gets by. Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Infamous words on the Kemmel Straight, this time in Aston Martin's colours as we make our way into Les Combes. Trying to fight back here. I think we've got the same issue as qualifying. There's not a lot of rear grip for us. Seems like others are having issues though as well as Russell gets out of shape. Now down into turn 8, we'll try and have a look at George here, but no way through as we lose out a place at the start. After such a good launch, by the way. We were going to try and go through the middle there at turn 1 and go up the inside. Seb coming back for more. We're going to completely shut off the inside into Pouon and close the door completely on him. as I'm struggling here for pace early on. Let's ask for a weather report actually. I should have done the formation lap, and let's see what the rain's going to do. I'll do it once we get through this little sequence of corners and make our way onto the back straight, so I can do it peacefully and not have any distractions. Our race pace should be better as well, it usually is, so I'm clutching here.
So this rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Well, that's not ideal. Again, I've got no front. It's the same thing as, you know, qualifying. I've got no high speed front downforce. Low speed's okay, as we get the elbows out with Seb once again. Looks like we're going to be a mobile chicane for this first part of the race in these conditions. Still going at it, Seb to the outside. We're going to hold the inside line to turn 1, and we're going to square off the corner nicely. Decent exit, but Seb again gets the run. This is going to be the recurring theme in this race, as we're going to go side by side into Eau Rouge. No, we just get in front. Seb trying to go through there, but gets out of shape, and I think Schumacher might have damaged his wing on the back of the master as the apprentice makes an error. So look at this, it's all kicking off behind now. This might just take the pressure off and allow us to build a bit of a gap. So let's focus up here and try to push in the second sector. Definitely losing time now, let's go. This is our chance to break away. Ooh.
Okay, information on Verstappen. Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
That's a big one. Verstappen out of the race. Right then, let's get the delta slowed down if it wants to slow down. My god, that is so slow. Virtual safety car. Not a full safety car. I was kind of hoping for a full safety car. It might help kill some time in these conditions, but still we'll take a virtual for now as the race kind of regroups. VSC ending.
Green flag.
We'll take that. That was a decent VSC phase, to be fair. Worked out okay for us. No time lost. Tyres a little bit cold. Lost a bit of temp on the Camel straight. Should have tried to keep them warm, to be fair. Anyway, back on the way now. Schumacher seems to be okay. No big damage, so race is on. First warning for track limits. Running a bit wide there. Schumacher absolutely flying. Carlos Sainz as well, as the Ferraris fight back through the field to try and make up for lost time. I'm taking such a big lift through there. I'm losing so much time. That corner, Blanchimont and Pouin are a big problem as we completely mess up the bus stop chicane. There's definitely a mismatch because I'm way too fast in the dry, but I'm super slow in the wet. Schumacher goes by, I'm not even going to fight it. We'll try and get him back, hopefully on the Camel straight. But like I was saying, there's such a weird mismatch, you know, off balance. In the dry, I'm fighting for pole. In the rain, I'm the slowest car on track. It's ridiculous. But that's not really a surprise with this game in terms of things being out balanced. Anyway, Schumacher's gone. I don't think I'll be able to get back past. I'll keep up in the second sector, but we'll drop back once we're off the Pouin. Sainz now will be the next threat. We're going to have to try and neutralise. Carlos Sainz literally pushing me through Stavlo. Luckily, we've got decent straight line speed, but he's going to keep the pressure on here. I think he's too close to the point where he might ruin his momentum through Blanchimont. Or not. He's really getting the pressure on now. Looks like we're going to hold on into the bus stop though and keep P8 for now. I'm just going to be staying on this tyre the whole race pretty much and praying it gets dry. That is our only hope as we set a personal best. Down the inside to turn 1, we're going to hold on for now. But again, Sainz will probably traction up better than us and get the exit. It's now going to be a race down to Eau Rouge, but it looks like we've got some decent straight line speed compared to the Ferrari. Unlike versus Seb Vettel. That might have been floor damage again, like in qualifying. Not ideal, but look at this, we do have some pretty insane straight line speed versus the Ferrari, who seems to carry a lot more downforce, so we're staying ahead of Sainz for now.
ETA on this rain clearing up is about 10 minutes, so just keep your concentration out there, you're doing well.
Okay, that's a good update, I'm happy to hear that. I think that is our only hope. We could still get back into this race if the AI box for another set of inters and we just, you know, stay out on these. Here comes Carlos, he's got the run. Look at that confidence under braking on the outside. We're going to hold our own and try to stay ahead. Getting into a traction battle now as we race down to turn 1. Another personal best. Into Lassalle's inside line for us, so we should stay in front. I think this pattern's going to keep repeating itself lap per lap. We've got decent straight line speed to defend, so we're going to be okay. Sainz looking for the move here, but we're going to shut the door on him there. Nice line through a rouge there, nice and tight. Not picking up the understeer that I usually get. And we've got the straight line speed here to stay in front. I think Seb might actually challenge Carlos if he's not careful.
Okay, we think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Cheers, Mark. I'm well aware, mate. Vettel Sainz battling. Let's go. Oh my god, that was close. Meanwhile, Sainz has stayed in front. Vettel now battling with Leclerc. P10, so the former teammates scrapping away. We're saving so much fuel, it's actually insane. What a lap this is. I've pretty much hit a perfect lap. Every single apex, every single trick that I know. And we're going to set a 54.8, a full second quicker. Sainz putting the pressure on. Worth noting, Alonso set the fastest lap on the lap before, a 1:53.3, so we're still 1.5 off, even after hitting a personal best. And look at that, 53.1 from Ocon. That's how far off the pace we are, even with a perfect lap. As you can see, I'm getting pretty good now for a rouge. I'm on the limit, but I'm hitting it pretty sweet. But we're still bleeding so much time. Luckily, we're finding a way to hang on here, and Sainz can't seem to get by. I've found how to make my car nice and wide in the right places, and we're staying in front. Oh my god, that was close. Oof. Sainz is just putting so much pressure on here, but we're able to stay in front. If I can turn in early enough, I can carry a lot more speed through Blanchimont and stay in front. It's really needs to start stopping now soon. I'm waiting for an update to the 10-minute mark from before to see if anything's going to change. Here comes Carlos again.
We're expecting you in around 2 laps, and we'll put you onto the intermediate tyres.
I don't think so, Elvis, mate. I think we're staying out, because that is going to be our ace card this race. Second warning. Got to be careful now. Pushing a bit too hard.
It looks like we're running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
Okay, that's encouraging. Not really a time to aim for though, so I will ask again.
We anticipate an end to this rain in around 5 minutes. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
I like the look of this. The timeline is adding up. We might just see the AI start to pit next lap for another set of inters, and we can stay out and try to make this no-stop work. I even saw Ara's video 2 days ago, and he was driving inters on a dry track, so even that would be an option. I'm talking a genuine no-stop here, maybe.
Push now, we're boxing this lap.
Meanwhile, though, Sainz back for more. We know how to do this. We've done it a few times already now. Just got to keep it nice and tight through one. Get the drive out of here. And then just keep it nice and smooth and slick through a rouge and radiant. Damn it. Again, are you kidding?
I'm afraid you've been given a time penalty for that last incident, mate.
Oh, are you sure about that? Honestly, was that even... That must have been really close. Anyway, let's not let it get us down. Doing our own race here. Seb now going for the move on Carlos. Let's try and keep pushing here. Head down. Here we go. Cars are pitting. Those, of course, who have to stack are staying out for a second lap. But everyone's in for another set of inters, although I will admit we have lost so much time to the leaders. I don't think we're still going to get ahead. This strategy of no stopping is going to merely just keep us where we were. That's how far behind we are in this race. There we are, P6. Not a lot to gain, really. Right, here we go. The remaining cars are in. Oh, no, actually, one of the Mercs is staying out. That's interesting. Surely next lap, one of the Alpines also staying out another lap. Gasly, though, behind us on fresh inters. Let's see, Perez and Zhou just in front of us here, but they've rejoined. So we're P5 at the moment.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
Rain isn't actually coming down now. The rain has stopped. All chair pits. Hamilton 51.7, fastest lap. Let's see what we're going to set, just as a reference. Gasly all over the back of me here. Personal best from us, to be fair, 54.1. Track is improving. Gasly trying around the outside, but we blocked the door off nicely. Still though, 3 seconds off the leader's pace. Actually insane. Gasly now going for the move. We're going to make sure he doesn't go for it though. He's trying out the inside, but will he actually pull it off? Yes, he does, to be fair. What a move. And now Russell looking for a slice. We're going to try and fight back though with that straight line speed here to try and get that P5. This is full position, so I want to try and force Gasly to defend. Make him work for it. Russell to the outside. This is where I know I'm stronger. I can't compete through here. In the slow speed, I'm okay. It's just the high speed corners, I got nothing. But we do get back in front. Get that P5. It's important now that we go to dry as quickly as possible. Another warning probably on our way. As the cars ahead set higher 1 minute 50s. Russell and Gasly now starting to battle, which is going to take the pressure off. We're 4 seconds off the pace. How are we even P5? Track's really starting to dry up now and ramp up. We're over a second up on our personal best on this lap. I've had no interruptions and the track visibly looks drier. 50.4 from Hamilton. I'm able to carry a bit more speed through Blanchimont now. Let's see what this lap is from us as we make our way through the bus stop. I think we're only a couple of laps away from the dries. If not, we're looking at maybe a whole race on the Inters. Here comes Gasly again, 52.8 from us. That is a lot more respectable. Much more on the pace. I think it's going to suit us actually, having a drying track. Leclerc 50.0.
We expect you'll be noticing a bit of grip loss in the tyres around now, so just be careful.
I'm going to close the door on Pierre this time. Had to press the brakes to make the corner, but we're not letting him get by. We're making our car as wide as possible. We're keeping it as fair as possible. Pierre's using the juice now. They're using a lot of battery to try and get this move done. He's going to commit up the inside. We're going to hold our line. Leaving space on the inside, and we stay in front for now. But Pierre is pushing to try and get past. Damn it. Just couldn't hold him back. We're going to still try and stick our nose in though. And fight this one out to the death. AlphaTauri, of course, one of our rivals in the Constructors, but we just don't have the grip to really hang in there anymore. Look at the traction from Gasly through there. I've got no answer to that. What is our tyre wear? 57, 58%. We might need to be bailed out here to a switch to dry, so I don't think I'm going to make it on these tyres.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
This is it, I think.
Confirmed.
Surprised that, there's been no DRS enabled message on screen yet. I did wonder on the last lap, I might have considered it, but I know in this game you can take the inters a lot longer. Okay, let's box for a set of mediums. I noticed late in the race and softs would make more sense, but I'm running pretty high pressures and I feel like I'm going to overheat because I put the pressures up in qualifying to try and compete, and also of course I left them high for the start of the race to try and have some better tyre temp on the inters. So because of that, I'd rather just go for mediums. Also they're fresh, so they're going to hold up nice. We can just go flat out in the mediums every single lap and give it everything. But this is it. This is the gamble now. Nobody's picked except for us and Sebastian Vettel as well. Nice clean stop, 2.3. Seb onto the softs.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Right, let's go. Let's see, might be a chance to get an undercut actually on Gasly here.
Okay, Teo's in the pits. Teo in the pits.
Got to remember, of course, we've got that underfloor damage, but yeah, it's completely flat. It's dry tyre time. This outlap is going to be super key for our race. We've got to give it everything, especially with that penalty. We're racing Sebastian Vettel here for the finish. Although again, I will say, you saw qualifying in the drive, we were very, very quick. So This might be a late race charge, so don't go anywhere, folks. Leave a like if you're enjoying. Oh yes, it's fully dry now. The grip is fantastic. Some teams are not double stacking, they're keeping their second car out, so we're going to get 2 laps at this versus certain drivers. But we're flying now. Very important phase here. This final sector is going to be key. Somehow that middle sector wasn't purple, which I can't believe. The AI are so fast on the Inters if that's the case, but there we go. Easy flat through Blanchimont, making up loads of lap time now. Let's see, it's going to be a race all the way down to turn 1 and the exit. Even if we get back ahead though, we're going to have to of course take care of the penalty. There we go, purple sector 3. Still not going to know exactly where I am until obviously every car pits, but there is Gazzy ahead of us, 3.6, so we didn't really gain that much to be fair. And Leclerc 3 seconds behind on fresh mediums.
Okay, clear.
Yellow flag behind. One of the Haas cars slowing down. That's Russell at the race. Will we see a safety car, a late safety car, 1 lap safety car maybe, or VSC even? Nope. Right. Let's keep pushing. Another warning. We do not want another one. Fastest lap of the race from Lando Norris, a 46.7 on the intermediates. 44.5 from us though. Looks like some people are still sticking on the Inters and gambling. P7 now. Aitken out the race, another one bites the dust.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
We're so heavy, we're 3 laps over on fuel. Car's been super efficient this race, but then again I didn't apply the race strategy program to the race strategy because it was a wet race, so it wouldn't have been accurate, so that's probably why. Pushing flat out here, we're racing signs for P8. I think that's the best we can do this race, P8. This is going to be close actually to even get points this race. We're very slow. I think it has to be the floor damage because even the pace that I had in qualifying doesn't exist anymore. We're still slow. Not as slow as the Inters, but we're still slow. The pace just isn't there anymore. I'm actually going to let Leclerc go by here, and I'm going to just get some DRS on the Kemmel straight for myself. Gap to Ricciardo 5.1 on the last lap. I think we'll be okay, but it's strange. It must be floor damage. Something's happened since Q2. We were so quick, and now it's all gone. We've got nothing. There we go. Hamilton wins at Spa. His championship challenge is back on as Leclerc's only going to finish in P7. We've got a 1 second cushion right now over Ricciardo. This is going to be very close for P10. Or P9, sorry, in this case. I think we'll just about hang on. Bit hot into there, trying to brake late. But there we go, job done in Spa, and we're back in the points, which we'll take.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
What a great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So there we have it then. Hamilton wins at Spa. Fernando Alonso second and Sergio Perez in third. Zhou Guanyu P4 ahead of Gasly and Norris, by the way, P6. So he pulled off the INTERSLICK strategy, which is finishing the race on the inters in completely bone dry conditions, but the intermediate obviously drying up to be like a slick, and he made it work. So fair play, Lando, good job, because we both done one stop each, but he managed to one-up me and get ahead of me by staying out in the inter and not going for the dry. So yeah, there's your lot in terms of the strategy. Both Ferraris as well. P7, P8, Leclerc fastest lap, but they dropped the ball today. Big points dropped to Mercedes in both championships. We finished P9, and Ricciardo in the end finished 9/10 behind us. So we do survive even with that penalty, and we get a couple of points. Missing out on the top 10, we have Ocon, Vettel, Schumacher, Stroll. Further down, we've got Albon, Poulcher, Latifi, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Aitken, Russell, and then Verstappen at the bottom. So standings, we're 11th. Zhou overtakes us. He's 6 points ahead. We still have a 13-point cushion over Schumacher and a 15-point cushion over Russell. Gasly up into P14 with that points finish, which, by the way, is big for the constructors as AlphaTauri closed the gap to 17 points. So Pierre putting in a shift, and AlphaTauri, even though they're bottom of the performance chart, they seem pretty damn quick. Ferrari, though, lead by 17 points in the constructors and Leclerc by 5 in the drivers. Now, though, let's move into upgrades. Right then, back in the office. The next race is Zandvoort in a couple of days. Not really much to do here. Activities, we'll just go for G-Force training to keep Poulcher sharp. 1,300 R&D points, just enough to maybe, buy something. Can I get something on the front downforce? That would be ideal. No, it can't. Bit expensive. 1,750. In that case, I might consider holding on to try and buy something, because we need to improve this. It's becoming an issue. Halo, pretty big discount, free downforce, 15%. That's pretty damn big. Chassis, Plank, 1,200 points. We could get that, but I'm not really too interested in a minor upgrade. Powertrain, rotor speed we could do, but we've already got fuel flow on the way. We'll leave it there. I'm not going to try. We've got a supplier upgrade for the general wear, which is, as you can see, level number 4 out of 6. Could do some reliability work. We are running a bit thin on the engine front, but again, I want to get that front downforce on. Once we get this front wing end plate downforce, that's going to make a big difference, I think. So, yeah, we're going to hold on for this. So, I think that's it, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. I'll be back in a couple of days for Zandvoort. F1 Manager this week as well. Big things coming soon, so stay tuned. Get subscribed for that. As always, guys, a massive plug to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. And it's goodbye from me.